Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin, and I'm joined by a very special guest today. With us, we have Kazuma Kuramoto, who will be taking on Yamana at Ryzen 29 in Osaka on I lost the date here. Sorry, May 30th. Ever since Ryzen switched to the things, they've totally confused me with the two shows. But yes, we got Kazuma Kuramoto with us. Kuramoto-san, thank you very much for your time. Yoshiko onegaishimasu.
よろしくお願いします。
Before we go into your new upcoming fight, we got to talk about your Ryzen debut, which you won by soccer kick against Tayo Nakahara, Ryzen 26. Tell us, how did it feel to get your first win in Ryzen? Also, you did your previous fight you lost before that. So how did it feel not only Ryzen debut win, but also getting coming off a loss, getting a win off a loss?
まず次の話の前に、前回のライジンの試合の話をしたいんですけども、
はい
中原太陽選手相手にサッカーキックで勝ちました。でそ
はい
れでその前の試合ではちょっと落としているんで、また勝利の勝ちを収めることができたということと、ライジンのデビュー戦で勝てたということなんですけども、これに関しては今どう思ってますか？その試合をちょっと振り返って教えていただければ。
はい。ライジンのデビュー戦に関しては、自分のスタイルで練習してた打撃で、相手をまず倒すことができて、自分の得意な投げが、スープレックスが使えなかったのは、使わずして倒せちゃったんで、ちょっと見てるお客さんからすると物足りなかったと思うんですけど、自分的にはすごく打撃が通用した、パウンドが通用したっていうので、すごくその前回の試合負けてることもあったので、一応ちょっと緊張はしてたので、実力通り出せて、良かったなと思ってます。
Actually, prior to that fight, I was actually concentrating on training to knock down the opponent with a punch. In that sense, I was able to achieve that. But from fans' point of view, I'm pretty sure that they wanted to see me suplex the guy, but I couldn't have that opportunity. So in that sense, maybe it was disappointing. But at the end, I was able to test my ground and pound, which proved to be very effective. And I was able to finish him with the striking, which is I'm very satisfied about that. And as you said, I did lose the prior to that fight in Shuto. So when I approach into that fight for my first Rising debut, I was very nervous towards that fight, but I was able to win that and win in a way that I was hoping to win. So I think I'm in a good. I got a good momentum now.
Yes, I remember when we last talked. I said I was going to do a drinking game with how many suplexes you were going to do, and unfortunately, I went sober throughout the night because there were no suplexes.
覚えてるかもしれないですけど、前回スープレックスされるたびにお酒を飲むってこと言ってたんですけども、一発も
はい。
投げてくれなかったんで、シラフのままで終わってしまいまし
すいま
Uh,
せん。
no, that's okay. That's okay. Now you're gonna be in the Ryzen Bantamweight Grand Prix, and I want to know when you got the offer to be in this Grand Prix. What were your thoughts and feelings?
た。まず、じゃあ今度、ライジンバンタム級グランプリに関してなんですけど、まず対戦相手とかが分からない状態で
はい。
ここに出れるという完璧なオファー、確定オファーが入ったときはどういう気持ちでしたか？
あー、ほっとしました。それで、ライジンがバンタム級1年間やるって言ってたので、これでもし選ばれなかったら自分の出番がないので、ほっとしました。
Actually, when I received that offer, I felt relieved because I knew they were planning on doing the Bantamweight Grand Prix to the end of this year. So if I don't get to choose on that Bantamweight Grand Prix, and that means I'm not going to have a fight till the end of the year. So I was very relieved.
So one of the interesting things is that I know that I'm not so familiar. A few of the other opponents in this thing have tournament experience, but also you have tournament experience when it comes to wrestling. And I want to know, do you think that there will be that's going to be a significant advantage for you, especially given the how gritty and tough wrestling tournaments can be? And yeah, I want to know if you think that will transfer over to this tournament.
ここで、一つお聞きしたいのは、バンタム級グランプリってトーナメントじゃないですか。 で、
はい。
レスリングをやっていた倉本選手からしたら、もうすごいきついトーナメント何回か経験してると思うんですけども、
はい。
その経験が今回のグランプリに役立つと思いますかというのと、実際のところそうやって1日で何試合もするそのレスリングのね、トーナメントと、こうやって何ヶ月かに分かれて、最後は2試合ですけども、
はい。
それとはちょっとどうかな、どう思いますか？
はい。特にトーナメントだから大変とかきついとかはないですね。やっぱりレスリングはもう1日優勝するのに4、5試合してやっと優勝、もう朝からやって夜に優勝ってなるんで、それはやっぱり本当にきつくて、で、今回はトーナメントと言いながらもくじも、毎回引くと思うんで、しかも、まあ、数ヶ月空くので、特に、トーナメントっていう気持ちでは挑んでないですね。もう毎試合毎試合が大事な試合っていう感じです。
Well, actually, even though they call this as a Grand Prix slash tournament, I'm not approaching this thing as a tournament. Because as you know, in a wrestling tournament I used to go through, I used to fight like 4 or 5 times to win the entire tournament in one day. And I had to compete from the very early in the morning to all the way to the night to get that trophy. So that's totally different from this Grand Prix because this Grand Prix, I get to fight once and then take a couple month break and I get to fight another time. So I'm taking one fight at a time. So I don't really approach this as a quote unquote tournament.
I understand. I understand. So let's talk about the person who you're first facing off. Brazilian Japanese fighter Alan Yamana. He's I believe he's from the Bonsai Jiu Jitsu dojo. And yeah, what have you watched videos of him? What do you think of him as a fighter?
じゃあ次にじゃあ次の対戦相手の話に入りたいと思うんですけども、この
はい。
アラン・ヤマニア選手っていうのは、ボンサイ技術家の選手ですけども、どうですか、まず彼の今までの試合の映像を見ましたかって見たんでしたら、それに対してのちょっと印象ってどんな感じですかね？
何個か見たんですけども、そんなに、盆栽柔術家っていうほど、柔術を頼るタイプじゃなくて、結構打撃で戦うタイプだと思いました。
Yes,
は
of
い。
course, I did watch some of his previous fights. And although he's from Bonsai Jiu Jitsu, I feel that he does not really relies too much on the BJJ techniques. He relies a little bit more on striking and everything else. So that's my impression of him.
Does that surprise you? Because usually the bonsai guys are mainly their bread and butter is jujitsu. When you were looking at him at videos of him and studying him, were you just surprised at of his lack of applying grappling in his fights?
盆栽柔術の選手にしては、おっしゃったように、あまり BJJ に頼ってないというか、そのグラップ
はい。
リング技術をあまり見せないというファイスタイルに関しては、ちょっとびっくりしましたかっていうのと、どう思いますか？
ああ、確かにもっと柔術使ってくる選手かなと思ったんで、試合映像で見たら全然使わずに結構打撃を振り回すタイプなんで、なんかいいかなって、やりやすいかなっていうのも。
Yes, I actually, yeah, I agree with you because when I look at his previous fights, he wasn't really using BJJ or grappling technique. Rather, he was actually swinging hard punches. So to me, actually, that's actually better for me. I feel like it's a better style of match of styles.
Now, with a tournament like this, I know you said that you're gonna still have some months in between, but even if you know that you're gonna be fighting, let's say, the possibility of fighting 4 or 5 months later, maybe longer, you still there. Sometimes fighters like to take it easy in the first portion of the tournament because you don't want to risk injury or a long-term injury or something that could possibly put you out of the tournament. And I'm just curious to know, is that something that you I know we talked about that you don't really tend to get tired as well in your fight. So I'm just curious to know: are you going to be pacing yourself differently in the first round, just so you know that you can come back a few months later if you win this fight?
さっき言ったように、そのトーナメント A 同1試合してからまた数ヶ月空いたりするわけですから、そのトーナメントっていう感じではないというのは分かるんですけども、他の選手にとっては、まあ、トーナメントだから前半、要するに1回戦はちょっと怪我をしないようにとか、
うん。
まあちょっと軽い相手を選んだりだとか、いろんな考えがある中で、
はい。
いや、トーナメント1回戦だから、その数ヶ月後に2回戦があるんだけども、その試合の中でどっかペースを組み立ててを違えた変えたりだとか、なんかそういったことはあるんですかね。
いや、もうまあ1回戦目が山ニハ選手に決まったんで、まあ、もうまあ、誰が相手でも気は抜けないのももちろんなんで、まあ、本気でやるのみです。はい。
Well, from the moment that Yamaniha has been my opponent, that thing was decided. I only think about finishing this guy. I cannot really be, thinking about anything else. And so right now, all I'm thinking about is go all out on the first round and make sure I win that fight.
Who do you think is the toughest opponent potentially for you in this fight in this tournament?
じゃあ話を変えますけども、このトーナメント全体を見て、一番やりにくいなっていうか、一番強敵だなと思うのは、どの選手ですかね。
うーん、そんな特に考えてないです。はい。
Actually, I don't really specifically think something like that because I don't know who I'm going to fight anyway.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. So I mean, yeah, one of the things about this tournament is that it looks like the winner will get a title shot against, I presumably Kyoji Horiguchi if he's still a champion. And also there's a financial prize to this, a very six-figure financial prize. I'm curious to know what are your thoughts on does one have more importance than the other? Would you rather be champion? Would you like the money, or is it of equal importance to you?
今回のトーナメント、もちろんグランプリ優勝すれば、当然、タイトルマッチということで、堀口選手とやること
はい。
になる。でそれプラス、優勝すれば、1000万円という賞金
はい。
が手に入る。でこの2つを考えたときに、どっちの方が重要ですか、それと同じぐらい重要ですかってか、どういうふうに考えてますかっていうことなの。
まずは優勝することが一番なんで、まず僕は山ニハ選手に圧倒すること、勝つこと。で、9月ですかね、また勝って、12月勝って優勝なんで、もう堀口選手とまではまだ、あの、そんな先のことはまだ考えてなくて、もうやったら勝つ気持ちでやるんですけど、まずは優勝っすね。1000万っす。
Well, right now, remember, I'm going to have to beat Yamaniha first. So I'm only thinking about that. Then I'm going to have to beat somebody in September, right? Then I have to beat win in December to win the Grand Prix. So my first goal is to win Grand Prix. So I haven't really thought about fighting Horiguchi yet. Of course, if I were ever to fight Horiguchi, I would think myself that I'm going to beat this guy when I step into that ring, but that's not the point here. So right now I'm thinking about Grand Prix winning first. So that means, sure, money. That's
Mhm.
first. Then we talk about Horiguchi.
Okay, okay. But one thing that's interesting about this tournament is the amount of 6 degrees of separation all these fighters have, and you have one with Okada Rio, and I'm curious to know, would you welcome a rematch against him? You know, if to get get a win back from him, if that winds up happening, if your brackets collide.
今回のトーナメントは16人選手が出てるだけあって、いろんな各選手因縁があったりだとかあるのは分かるんですけども、前回負けちゃってる岡田選手が出てますけども、
はい。
岡田選手と再戦をしてみたいという気持ちがありますかっていうのと、その2回戦のこのスクランブルでまた抽選組むときに、もしもその岡田選手を選べるんだったら選びますか？
そうですね。やりたいと思ってます。ちゃん
Yes.
と、は
Yeah.
い。ちゃんと負けは、返さないと、しっかり勝って。
Yes, to answer your question, I would love to get a rematch with Okada. And, of course, that's a loss. So I have to avenge that loss. That's a competitor's mind. And yeah, if I had to choose him on next tournament scramble, I might go and choose Okada as my opponent.
Now, as somebody has been doing MMA professionally for about 4 years, coming up in 2021, I'm curious to know, as as somebody, as someone who's been a lifelong athlete, I'm just curious, how have you how have you developed? How has your MMA training changed from day one to now, if it has changed?
倉本選手はもうずっとすごい長い間競技者ではあるんですけども、この MMA をやってる期間はまだ短いじゃないですか。その期間の話なんですけども、やっぱり初めて MMA をやった日から今の自分を見たときに、その練習方法とか考え方で何が一番変わりましたか？もしも変わったんだったら、変わったと思いますけども。はい、
もう本当に負けるまではもうずっとほぼ自分の今までのやってきたこと、空手、柔道、レスリングでほぼ勝ってたと思ってます。それを負けて、やっぱり足りないことがいろいろ分かったので、やっぱりグラップリングテクニック、打撃テクニック、やっぱりそこはもう、全然足りないことが分かったので、そこを今、もう負けてからはずっとそこを重視して練習してます。
Well, until I lost that fight in Shuto, I have to say that I was just doing the same thing as I was doing all my life, which is karate, judo, and wrestling. I relied on those three techniques and I have been winning. But after I lost that fight, I realized that I need to really look into technique in terms of striking and grappling. And now I realize that I really don't have that much skills in those two categories. So I really need to, strengthen that department. So in that sense, yes, my training method has changed dramatically.
Gotcha, gotcha. I'm curious to know as well. Since your fight in Ryzen and your win in Ryzen, I'm curious to know has your name or how has life been for you? Do people recognize you on the streets now as the guy who knocked out your Tayo? Did you get more followers on social media? How has your life changed since that one win?
どうですかね、雷神に出て以来、
はい。
歩いてたら誰かに声かけられるとか、なんかちょっと少し自分の生活とか、認知度が変わったみたいな感じますか？
いや、あんまり変わってないですね。テレビに映らなかったんで。はい。
Well, actually, unfortunately, not much because I don't know if you know this, but my fight was never really televised on Fuji television.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was on Fuji. Okay. Go on the side. Go on the side. I did not realize that.
でもだいぶ、今までよりは本当に良くなりました。いろいろ、お金
But
の面でも。
but but in terms of money or getting a sponsors, attractions, and stuff like that, it's been much better than before Rising. So I've been doing very good.
Okay, good, good, good. That's at least a positive. That's at least a positive. Um, and so I'm curious. So for the training for this tournament, anything different? You training any differently? Is it kind of? I know you talked about how you train differently after your loss, but now coming into this Grand Prix, has the training changed at all, or is it basically kind of about the same?
前回の試合が終わってからその打撃とかグラップリングの技術を練習にね集中したっていうのは分かるんですけども、それにプラス今回のヤマニャに対してなんか違った練習法とかなんかもうちょっと考えて違ったことってあります？
いや、特になくて、もう今までやってきたことをまたさらにこうレベルアップしてきてるだけで、あとはちょっと山根選手試合を見て、ちょっとこの癖をちょっと見てるぐらいで、別にじゃあ、この山根選手専用の技とかは特に何も考えてないです。
Actually, not really, because of course, I do study his fights, but I'm not really changing any training or specific technique. It's just specialized to try to get Mr. Yamaniha or any of that. So I'm actually doing the same kind of training.
Okay. And I'm curious to know. So, for this fight, I think I'm gonna ask you this for every fight that we have you on. Over under, how many suplexes are you gonna be doing on Alan Hero?
前回も聞きましたけど、毎回聞かせていただくけど、今回はスプレックス何発ぐらいいくと思いますか？
はい。5発ぐらい。
Five consecutive? Are we talking 2 in round 1, 1 in round 2? How do you plan to space out 5?
5連続じゃないでしょつって。
5連続じゃないっすね。
Yeah, it's got to be separated to a couple of different occasions.
Okay, great. I'm curious to know as well. Since this is a Grand Prix tournament, I don't believe they're allowing elbows in this. In this. Mr. Hirata, is that true? I believe that's right. Right? They're not allowing
Uh,
elbows.
they didn't announce this, right? Actually, the Rising is making a rules change. The elbows will be allowed to all MMA fights.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Because
Last day on December. Which,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
On the press release I got, it didn't say anything about elbows allowed because they usually put
Elbow
elbow.
allowed for
Oh, okay.
around, yeah.
Never mind. Because my question was going to be if elbows weren't allowed, how's that feel? But let's scrap that question. I'm curious to know. So, I know this you'll be fighting in Osaka, and if I'm correct, you are from the Kansai region, but not Osaka. Is that correct, Kuramoto-san?
まあ、大阪で今度大会ですけど、まあ、大阪じゃなくて、ちょっとあちら側の東京じゃないところの出身じゃないですか。
はい。
まあ、その近くって言え
はい
るところですかね、って思うんですけども、どうですか、
そうですね。
それで地元のファンの反応は。
そうなんですけど、もうこのコロナの状況で、大阪今日本でも一番多いコロナがちょっと多い状況なんで、もう僕は滋賀県で、京都、滋賀、大阪、京都、滋賀ってちょっと離れてるんですけど、やっぱりこの大阪は都会なので、みんなちょっと行きたがらないです。
Yes, actually, I'm from Shiga Prefecture, which is near Osaka, which is like Osaka, Kyoto, and Shiga. And we all go to consider Osaka as the closest big major city. However, the corona, the pandemic, and the number of the contracted person in Osaka has risen dramatically. So unfortunately, lots of my supporters and fans from home prefecture have decided to not go to the Osaka show or just totally reluctant to go to Osaka right now.
Has the training at all changed as well because of the state of emergency for you?
どうですかね、緊急事態宣言が出て、練習環境とかに影響出てますか？
いや、もう特にもう今まで通りやれてます。まあ気をつけてのまんま。
No, actually, in terms of training, nothing has changed. I was able to maintain my schedule. I just have to be a little bit careful about the pandemic.
Gotcha. So I mean, it sounds like it kind of sucks because you are going to be fighting kind of in your hometown, your neighboring area. But unfortunately, yeah, I forgot about the state emergency was extended to Osaka as well. I just thought it was in Tokyo. But I mean, I mean, you still have you said that not a lot of your fans and supporters will be coming, but you'll still be able to. Some of them are still able to come, right? I don't know what the exact cap is for the show. I think it's 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
Yeah, 5,000. But you're able. There's still some of them are still able to come. Is that correct?
だけども、まあ、あんまり来たがらないのは分かるんですけども、何人かはやっぱり地元からも来てくれるって感じですかね。
そうですね。はい。あと
Yes,
は大阪の友達も何人か来てくれます。
and some of my Osaka friends are also coming too.
Okay, great. So I'm also curious to know when this whole pandemic, whenever it's declared over, what's one of the first things you're gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do when this pandemic is officially declared over by the world?
今回いろいろなね、このコロナのおかげでみんな辛い思いしてるんですけども、これが正式に全部終わって、通常に戻りましたってなった時に一番初めにやりたいことは何ですか？
嫁さんとゆっくりいろいろなとこ旅行したいですね。
Actually, I would like to spend the time, relaxed time with my wife, and perhaps even take a travel around in Japan to, have a nice trip together.
Okay. Oh, that's very nice. Very nice. Any places you plan to go to? I don't know, Okinawa or Sapporo or I don't know. I don't know what's like the vacation spots
ど
for.
こなんですか？じゃあ一番上に行きたいとこってどこですかねって奥さんと。
全然関係ないですけど、ハワイ行きたいなっていう話をします。
I guess it's not domestic, but we would be always talking about going to Hawaii.
Oh, okay. You said Japan, so I was like, I thought you were really gonna go in Japan. Okay. I see. Okay. Oh, well, Hawaii is nice. That's a very nice place to go to. Really hope it works out for you, Kuramoto-san. But that's basically all the questions I have. I just want to give you an opportunity to say give you a shout out to your sponsors, as well as any last comments that you want to say about your fight or your opponent, Alan Hero. Go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
じゃあ、まずこれで最後になりますけども、まず一つ、ファンまたは対戦相手の山根にちょっとメッセージがあったら、まずそれお願いします。
はい、試合を見てくださる皆さんは、前回ちょっとジャーマンなしで、普通にパンチ、パウンド、サッカーボールキックで仕留めて、まあ、あれはあれで強い自分をお見せできたと思うんですけど、まあ、ジャーマンだったり投げでちょっとやっぱり、こう、会場を沸かせようっていう気持ちもすごいあるんで、チャンスがあればというか、まあ、自分からそのチャンスを作りに行くように、今回はやろうと思ってるんで、楽しみにしててください。
でそれからね、それから。Okay, so to the message to the fans first. The last fight, I was able to only showcase striking, punching, and taking down. So I actually do have a feeling of trying to excite the fans as well. So I really would like to nail that suplex this time. So if you could look forward to that, that would be great. それからじゃあ次は、相手
は
は。
い、対戦相手の山庭選手は、まあ、柔術も強いのは分かってるんで、まあ、そこに付き合わないように、まあ、付き合っても負けることはないと思うんですけど、まあ、しっかり圧倒して、僕がまた勝たせてもらうんで、あの、覚悟しておいてください。
Well, and the message to Alan Yamaniha is that I know you're a very good BJJ fighter, but I'm not going to play on your ground. And even though I do play on your ground, I probably can beat you anyway. But I'm going to have a good fight. So please look forward to it. And そして最後にじゃあ、スポンサーとかなんか言いたいことがあり
はい。
ました。はい。
スポンサーの方だったり、いつも応援してくださる方は、まあ、本当にいつもありがとうございます。今回の試合は勝って当たり前で、優勝するのが、まずは優勝するのが僕の使命なんで、まあ、今回の試合はちゃんと圧倒して勝てるようにするんで、応援またよろしくお願いします。
And finally, the message to sponsors are that thank you very much for supporting me all the time. My goal is here is to win the Grand Prix. So I should be able to, and I should dominate the Alan Yamaniha. So that's my approach to this fight. So please keep supporting. Look forward to this fight.
Great, great. And you can see Kazuma Kuramoto take on Alan Yamaniha at RIZIN 29, May 30th, Sunday. It'll be at the Marazun Intech Arena, Osaka. Most likely and hopefully it'll be on live now for us English speaking viewers. If not, I'm presuming it'll be on the RIZIN live streaming service. So, if that's the way that they're going to show it, that'll be the way. Kuramoto-san, we really appreciate your time. And we're really looking forward to see how you go forward in this tournament. And we know that the fight that you'll be in with Yamaniha is gonna be very exciting. And I'm expecting 5 suplexes. I'm holding you word to that.
スープックス5回よろしくお願いします。
はい。
Thank you very much, sir. You take care now. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
じゃあどうもありがとう。
And we are.